college. Just a little bit of my background. So I'm got AS in welding from the college that I teach at now. I've been a member of the Boilermaker, Ironworker, and Sheet Metal Workers Union. Also, after working for the unions for a while, I decided to go off and get an engineering degree. So I went back to school, got a materials engineering degree at Cal Poly, went on and had a career involving many different titles, including manufacturing engineer, chief estimator, and vice president operations for a large corporation and such. And currently I'm the welding department coordinator and instructor at Las Positas College. So today what I'm here to talk about is how do we connect the welder with the business of the weld shop, okay? And so why do we need to connect the welder and the weld shop? And so that's to provide an understanding of how the welder's unique skills connect to the business operation, increase awareness of how the unique aspects of our business welding operate, and also to provide the groundwork for someone that might want to have an entrepreneurial instinct, that might want to start up a welding business or create some product that they want to market at a later date. Because I kept having students come up and talk to me about, you know, hey, how do I start a business, or I've got this idea, how do I, you know, turn this into money, or what do I do to get started and such. Okay, so my first welding job, I got hired on as a welder's helper, and just like many people that entered the industry, I passed a 70-18 3G and 4G test, and I went to work. And I was amazed by all the activity in the shop and all the things I saw going on. I saw raw materials coming in the door on a truck. I saw finished goods going out on a truck. All kinds of different things going on there. But I didn't really understand, you know, how my welding skills fit into the whole entire business operation. How did those projects that we're actually welding on now, how did our company get those projects? And once we got done with them, I saw them leave on a truck and they went outside and they came back painted, or they went out to a machine shop and they came back with holes. And as a welding student just entering the welding business, I didn't understand how all of that stuff fit together with my individual skills that I had. I was also, later on, became a vice president of operations, and I was constantly looking for productivity in the people on the plant floor. Got a little bit frustrated by the lack of connection between what was going on in the shop and the bottom line at our company. There was clearly activities going on in the shop that were tough to curtail, that weren't tied closely to our bottom line and were actually causing us to lose revenue thing. Also, our company, we had a little apathy for the owner that coupled to provide poor productivity and morale in the shop. People just really didn't understand our business and how it worked. And so it ultimately led to the demise of a great company. So when I became a welding educator, primarily what we do now is we teach students hands-on skills and knowledge to gain employment. But I wanted to see them succeed and understand how our particular industry operates a little more deeply than just being able to pass the weld test. That's a lot of students in college. They just, you know, I want to ask the question, how many people want to become certified? Every name or every hand goes up in the room. But trying to connect what those skills do and how they connect to the business operation was one that a lot of students didn't understand. And like I mentioned before, many students had ideas on products or inventions, or how do I make this, how do I do that? I'd like to start up my own business, how do I do that? And so what I wanted to do was kind of give back to the students a little bit of the background that I had learned in working my way up from welder's helper in the shop all the way through and up to being the vice president of operations at our company. So what I did was, the welding, Weld Ed folks have identified a great skills gap. Okay, we got many people in our country that are short on skilled welders, and there's predicted to be hundreds of thousands of jobs here in not too the distant future. But one of the things is what about the welding jobs gap? Okay, how do we generate more jobs? How do we generate more things in our country? Okay, so these are actual statistics from just something I pulled off here. This is pulled up, or the data comes from Moody Analytics. But the red marks, red generally isn't good, but this is manufacturing jobs in the United States in the middle of 2010. As we progress through forward, We see the red still exists heavily in our country. Okay, there's forecast jobs for next year. Okay, the red dots are locations where there's going to be less jobs in that area than there were the quarter before. Okay, and if we look out even going forward to 2014, we still see a lot of red there and such. Okay, so the news has told us pretty well that manufacturing's hurting in the United States. And there's things that we need to do to increase that and take some of the jobs back from some of the companies. Okay, so how I made the connection between the welder and the weld shop is I created a course that teaches welders the important aspects of a successful welding business. Not just about passing the weld test, but working at a welding company, how do we make money, how do we survive, how do we create jobs so that we can hire more welders as we go down the road. And trying to make every student understand how their small pea in the giant pod that we call our company, how they fit in and make it successful. So I make sure every student understands the importance, the challenges, and the rewards that owning and operating a business brings. So those of us that are in the industry, it's not all rewards. There are challenges, there are things that go wrong along the way, and we need to be aware of all of that. And how do we make smart moves to avoid getting those problems down the road. And then what I tried to do was integrate this course, this business course, into our existing skills courses. Okay? So the Welding Business is a course that explores the combination of materials, machines, and labors. It teaches the processes of commercially welded components all the way from the cradle to the grave. Okay? Explains the process from the initial customer contact, whether that's an email from our customer, whether that's a AutoCAD file or a SolidWorks drawing that I receive in the email, whether it's a big roll of drawings that I get in FedEx from my customer, or whether it's just a cold call on the phone. How do I react to that customer and how do I get that work? Unlike our other industries where retail, the price is set, we walk in, you either pay it or you don't, and you walk out. Welding business is a little bit different, just like a lot of construction things. We have to bid for work. We don't get every job. Some jobs we bid too low. And so I'm trying to explain those processes to the students as well. The process of fabrication and things like that, breaking it down from raw material all the way to finished goods. We talk about the inspection process and what's needed for that to make it so that the customer will finally accept the product that we manufacture. And then finally, it tries to teach the factors that are unique to our welding and fabrication business that make it an interesting and rewarding career. So I'm trying to tie the students into, hey, you've got skills here and you can go get a job, but you can also look at a bigger window that you could potentially be a business owner down the road, or you could become a business partner, or even if you end up just being an employee for the rest of your life, at least you understand the business that you're in and how you can make positive contributions in the shop using the skills that you have to move your company forward and make your career and your employment at that employer more secure and more long-standing. So we talk about who needs welding. Okay, so we go through it and we talk to the students about who exactly needs welding, what kind of customer is looking for welding, and specifically, you know, the kind of customers that we're looking for and things like that. So we talk about that at length. We also talk about the flow of the work through the welding shop. How does it go? How do we, all the way the process from the customer, we bid it, we've got the job, now it's yours. Now we've got to build it, deliver it, and get it on schedule, on budget, and without any problems and inspection headaches along the way and such. Okay, so we talk about all the different processes that go on in the weld shop. We talk about the customer contact, the process of request for quotation, and we actually task the students with producing a small quote and producing what's involved in getting a quote and putting a quote together. We go through the process of estimation and understanding that nobody has a perfect estimate. It's just an educated guess. And we try to get as close as we can, and we teach the students some of the processes and some of the techniques that we can use to estimate labor. We talk about pricing and providing students or providing your customer with a bid price. We also talk about the process of the customer can either accept or reject your price. They can choose to go on to a different vendor, or they may come back to you with certain exceptions and things that are not in your quote that they want, or things that you need to take out. Talk about, okay, the customer says we want it, now we're going to have a project kickoff. Most of the project kickoff goes on in the office, where we have to buy the materials, check the drawings, get all the other subcontractors and people lined up before we actually even throw the work and the drawings out into the shop. Then we talk briefly about the fabrication process, what's involved in it, what type of materials and equipment are we going to see in the shop. We're going to see plate racks, we're going to see racks with bar material, there's saws, there's press brakes, all these varied assorted support equipment that's in the weld shop that's not necessarily part of our normal skills program that we offer in a community college. We talk a little bit about finishing and all the different processes, everything from wet paint, powder coat, to electro polish and plating. And finally, we talk about inspection, okay? So every part that we send out to our customer has to be inspected and has to pass quality control and meet the requirements that our customer has set forth in the contract documents. And we talk about the importance of that and what a certificate of conformance is. We talk about certified material test reports, all of these different aspects that are important in a fabricated item that has to be delivered in a quality control package or a deliverable package at the end when we ship something. We talk to them a little bit about packaging and shipping. You know, some of the things that we make in the welding world, hey, they're not exactly designed to go down the road. What kind of trucks do we use for that type of stuff? What kind of packaging does certain customers require? Do something with Lockheed, they want to have it in a certain wooden box with crating, letters just right in the right location. Other customers are a little bit loose on that. So we talk about some of the requirements in the area of packaging, especially if we're building something for the military. Okay, they want real special packaging for their items and such. So we talk about some of that. And then the last thing is we talk about what all these other activities are all focused on, and that's making a little money and getting paid at the end. Okay? We do different types of things where we supply the students with these bid estimate worksheets where the student can go through here and line out their materials, the different aspects of their labor, whether they're going to subcontract stuff, whether they've got price involved in shipping, they are available to mark it up. They can put in hourly rates here, calculates tax and things like that. Out in California where I live at, we got 8.75% tax. A lot of people are like shocked when they hear that. And then finally, and last but not least, there's a number in there we can plug in for profit. So it gives the students a basic outline for which they can produce their bid. Okay, and then once we do that, then students turn in their bids. Okay, and so down the side here, you can see the prices on the particular product right here that they had. And then they compare it to some of the other people's. And we gave each student a little business name for themselves, and they compared themselves how they came out against other students on the fictitious quote that we put together. So one of the other things that we do is besides just working in the classroom, half of the class is focused on field trips out to locations and businesses that support our welding industry. So here's an example of a field trip that we took to Ryerson Metals in Livermore, California. We walked through the facility, talked to the operations manager. He explained to us the pitfalls and the things that they have to watch out for in the raw material business. They talk about, you know, cash flow through there, maintaining inventory, what's the process by which when I call up and order a piece of material, how does it go through the plant and how does it end up on a pallet and on a truck and rolling out to my plant. Okay, so the students get an understanding of that. We brought in folks from equipment manufacturers. So many of us know Dan Geisbuehler from Miller Electric. So Dan came out to our college, spoke to the students at length one evening. We talked about the aspects of what kind of equipment are we going to want if we're a business owner. Am I going to run down to Kragen or Home Depot and buy just a little buzz box and I'm going to open up my business with that? Or do I need to think about getting some equipment that might have 100% duty cycle and things like that on it. So came in and talked about, what's the difference between equipment that we might have in the shop versus the type of equipment that we're going to have in our industrial weld shop. Talked about kind of durability and also kind of how to finance some of that equipment as well. So he provided a great insight to many of the students. Another aspect of the class is we go out and we visit union organizations. So the students, and we talk about what's the difference between working at a union shop and what's different from working at a non-union shop. What's the aspects of being a business owner and having a union in your facility, and how do you react to that versus how do I operate if I have a non-union facility? What things and what processes am I capable to, do I have flexibility in, as opposed to being associated with a union shop? And then finally, the key thing is and so this is the first time we're teaching this class, so I'm in the middle of the semester, and the balance of the semester is going to be spent going out and meeting with welding business owners so that the students can talk one-on-one with the owners of the business so that they can understand the rewards, the challenges, and the pitfalls of owning your own welding business. Okay? So our course outline looks something like this. This is our description that we have. Course explores the combination of materials, labors, and machines. And then it goes through all the other different aspects and stuff that we talk about in our class. Understanding the flow of the work through the welding operation, who the customer basis is, request for quotation process, bidding on work, some of the contract documents. We talk about codes, manufacturing travelers, quality control, use of subcontractors, and what's involved there. We talk about handling materials, what kind of equipment, cranes, forklifts, other things that we use for handling material. And then we talk about the basic business definitions of things like, we talk a little bit about accounting, some of the deal with cash flow, profit, overhead, some of those other business aspects that normally a welder that goes through a business or goes through a skills program is not going to get exposed to and such. And I believe it's that exposure to that deeper understanding of the welding business that ultimately ties the student more closely to the industry that we're in. It has a significant amount of measurable objectives as well. So we all know that in the welding world here, and especially in education, student learning outcomes and measurable outcomes or measurable objectives are key components to any class that we teach. And so we've got a list of those here that attack all of the different things that we teach in the class. I'm not going to go through all of this here, but nonetheless, there's many different aspects that we have here that try to tie into what we're doing. Okay? So in conclusion, what my suggestion is, or what I think that schools should consider doing is creating a business welding course that will provide students with a deeper understanding of how our industry operates and functions. There's definitely things that are unique to our industry that are different than under others. We have codes and rules and regulations that we have to understand and operate under, very different than some of the other companies and businesses out there that don't have the battery of codes and rules and regulations that we have to follow here. Provides a basis for students to see how their skills fit into a larger welding operation. And then finally, it provides the foundation for someone to start their own welding business and create jobs. As we all know that most jobs, or most of the jobs in our United States, are generated by small businesses. It's not one business hiring 500 new people, it's 100 businesses hiring 5 people each. And so if we can spark the initiative into students to think that maybe someday I could create my own welding business, I could be my own owner, I could drive my own train in the own direction that I choose to go in, that's the basis for the course that I've created. Okay, is there any questions about any of this? All right, very good. Thank you very much for your time.